Bio fans, Anya here from the Biography Wrap, and today we're going to explore the life of Chef Wolfgang Puck through the movie Wolfgang, directed by David Gelb. The story begins in a garden where Chef Wolfgang Puck cuts and tastes freshly grown vegetables. Wolfgang Puck is a celebrity chef who has come into the limelight due to his sheer efforts and enormous talents. He owns many restaurants across America and is the writer of many award-winning cookbooks. Wolf explains that as a kid, his childhood was very rough. After his mother got remarried, his stepfather was very abusive to him and his mother. Before his mother's marriage, Wolf mentions that his family was impoverished. They did not have running water or even toilet facilities, but he found joy in the kitchen helping his mother and grandmother make dishes and observing them. After all these years, Wolf narrates his story of how he became so famous as a chef and set out new limits for all other chefs in the world. Following his passion, Wolf, as an adult, opened a restaurant and named it Spago, which became a sensation overnight. His food was excellent. Spago became exceptionally famous. Even celebrities and directors' first choice became Spago, and it is still today. Due to this, Wolf became quite popular in the United States. Whoever saw TV knew who Wolfgang Puck was. Wolf visited his childhood home, where he used to live with his stepfather. He explains that it was the time when he really started to understand his passion for cooking, as every other teenager couldn't wait to get out of his house and follow his passion. After he finished school at the age of 14, his mother found a job for him at Post Hotel as a cook's apprentice. His father told him that he would fail in the field as real men don't do cooking. He was so eager to prove him wrong that even as an apprentice, and although his first job was nothing more than peeling off potato skins, his biggest fear was to have to go home without a chance to prove himself, which by chance one day turned out to be true as his boss fired him, saying he was good for nothing. Following the night, he stood upon the edge of a river, looking down and thinking whatever happens, he didn't want his stepfather to tell him, "I told you so." And he was sure as hell that he didn't want to give up. The following day, Wolf got up and reached the hotel, after which his boss once again repeated the same words, but Wolf was determined to get himself a second chance. After seeing all this, the hotel manager decided to give him a second chance and sent him to his other hotel called Park Hotel. He says that he learned that nothing comes easy to post this event, but giving up is not an option. After starting his job at Park Hotel, Wolf got to know the basics of cooking, and it gave him a sense of accomplishment when he found himself able to cook something even as simple as a pancake. During his 2 years of apprenticeship at Park Hotel, once a famous team of French chefs came to cook there for a week, and it was then when he saw them cooking in a way he had never seen before. The techniques and recipes and ingredients were all so different from what he had seen here all this time before. It got him inspired about French cooking, and at the age of 19, he went to France and got a job in a 3-star restaurant, Beaumanière. There used to be 5 chefs there, among which he was the youngest one and the only one who didn't know French, so it was really difficult for him to learn there. But the hotel owner, Raymond Thulier, was a perfectionist himself and always appreciated Wolf's passion for cooking, which led to him becoming Wolf's mentor. At that moment, he decided that he wanted to become a chef. Wolf had such hatred for his stepfather that he didn't want to go visit home, so he disconnected all ties from his house. He didn't even communicate with anyone in his family for over a year and a half. But when he found out that his family were looking for him, thinking something had happened to their child, he wrote them a letter explaining he was happy and following his passion and didn't want to come home. After this, as every teenager, Wolf had a dream to come to America and move his career one step further ahead. So at the age of 24, he moved to California and got a job in a restaurant as a night chef. But it was only then that he realized how different was food in America was from the food in France. No fresh ingredients were used here. Instead, frozen and tasteless raw ingredients were being used there on a very large scale. One day, on his way to get coffee, Wolf saw one of his friends from Paris, and upon conversing with him, Wolf got to know that he was working in a restaurant, Ma Mission, whose owner was the nephew of the owner of the hotel in Paris he worked in. Wolf asked him to get a job for him at his restaurant, which he did. After being hired at Ma Mission, the day Wolf entered the kitchen, he understood that it was the same as every other American restaurant at that time. One day, a newspaper published a terrible article about the review of Ma Mission, which got the owner furious, and he fired his head chef. The owner asked Wolf that it was upon him to lead the restaurant from there on. Being a head chef, Wolf confronted what he thought was the biggest problem in their restaurant, which was frozen ingredients. After a great deal of research, he found a farmer growing fresh vegetables and selling them locally in California's outskirts. The change of ingredients brought Ma Mission's name and fame among others in the city back. It got even more famous as after eating in the restaurant, people asked Wolf how he could bring such exquisite flavors to his food with such simple ingredients. Since Ma Mission became extremely popular, it brought fame for its owner Patrick. But Wolf, the one making all the effort, was behind the kitchen door. One day, while he was giving cooking classes at Ma Mission, he noticed a girl in his class, Barbara Lazaroff, instantly felt a connection with her and thus proceeding with a proposal of friendship in her direction, which after not that long turned into love. She understood Wolf very well and appreciated him for his talent. It was she who saw the real artist inside Wolf. She made him realize that Patrick was stealing all of the credit for his hard work and talent. On top of that, didn't even pay him that well. When he confronted Patrick, he said that Wolf, just being a cook, was not that important and significant in the success of a restaurant. After this, Wolf decided to quit his job at Ma Mission, but in his thoughts, he was petrified as to what he was doing was a mistake by leaving a restaurant in the prime of the city of its peak fame. But after he read an article in the newspaper stating that Patrick had given a statement that Wolf is just an over-ambitious chef and knew nothing about how to run a restaurant, in a few months he will fail and come back to Patrick begging for his job back. All this made him remember his stepfather and how he despised him. That's the moment he finally decided that he would open his own restaurant, which he had been in his dreams for all of his life. Wolf found a place downtown in Hollywood and aimed to open a small, conventional restaurant, but Barbara was the one who told him that if he was going to open his own restaurant, with being the boss, he had to show the people his vision, ideas, creativity, and art of cooking. After all, he had so much talent in him, which he himself didn't know at that time. Surprisingly, from the very first day of the opening of his very first restaurant, Spago, it became an instant success. People from all over the city were talking about his restaurant and how fantastic food he was serving there. This inspired Wolfgang to invent new dishes, try new combinations. During this, he came up with his signature dish, California cuisine, which left his customers to keep coming again and again to his restaurant for the same taste. It was just the beginning that Wolf was offered an appearance on a cooking show on national television, after which he revolutionized how people look at chefs. He became the first celebrity chef of America. Literally, he became famous all over America. Everyone knew him. As a result of his great fame and success, Wolf became very busy with his restaurants, so much that he could not give enough of his time to his family. And despite having no hatred for each other, it was just infeasible for him and his wife to get a divorce. This event slowly led Wolf to realize that whatever he thought he was doing or achieving wasn't worth anything if he had no one to share his joy with. And that's when he decided to give time to his family and his children more and more. While telling all of these life stories, Wolf says that he knows he has lived life because he knows that he is loved. That's it from the movie Wolfgang. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. Let me know what you thought of this inspirational and motivational story, and make sure to check out this next one.